Have you ever sat at your desk the day after one of your best friends from work decides to leave? And you start to think through, like, man, how is this going to affect my life? How is it going to affect the workload on my team? Well, how am I going to get that mojo back, especially if someone that you're really close to decides to leave your firm? It's like losing a best friend. It's like losing a close family member. It's like it can completely disrupt your career if you think about it too long. And that has happened to me. And I know that whenever top performers leave, because I'm a top performer, my workload is going to double, if not triple. And I get that. I'm going to have to be more efficient. I'm going to have to be more productive. I'm going to have to be more, I'm going to have to generate more revenue. I know that when top performers leave, the other top performers at a firm are going to have to pick up the load. But I think, there's so much that is wasted. People, companies waste so much resources developing, training, coaching, mentoring top talent. And when top talent walks out of the door, that's a massive investment that is completely wasted. I'm sure if you did the research, I'm sure millions of dollars would be wasted when you think about the amount of attrition that happens at successful firms. And so, if I can help you today, not just um, to minimize the attrition, but if I can help you today retain your top talent and obtain top talent, if I can help you do that, not only is it going to make me feel good because I'm able to deliver value, that's what I do as a consultant, that's what I do as a keynote speaker, but I'm also going to feel good when I know that there's someone like me and you who is not going to have to feel that nasty pit in your stomach, that feeling of nauseousness when someone that is good, someone that you work closely with, someone that you respect and admire, someone that you are are able to solve problems with, when that person walks out of the door, if I can prevent you from feeling that feeling, this message would be successful. So I'm going to give you some tools that you can use so that you'll have less turnover, less attrition, and you'll be able to obtain and maintain engagement with your top talent. All right, number one, we have to start building relationships with the people that we work with. In the future, when I talk about the future of work, top talent is going to go and stay where they feel seen, where they feel heard, where they have an identity, where they feel like they belong, where they can see a path for them to be successful in the future. People will leave jobs, jobs will come and go, careers will come and go, problems will come and go, companies will even come and go. People will leave leaders, people will leave managers, people will leave their entire career and go do something else. But you know what they don't do? People will not leave their friends. If you have a top performer at your job and they have a close friendship at their job, they are not going to leave that friend. And you've seen this in layoffs, you've seen this when people get downsized. If you lay off someone and they had a close relationship with someone else at work, they had they had a bond, they had a strong personal relationship with them, and it could be platonic, right? It doesn't have to be romantic, but if they had a strong relationship with someone that they work with and that person gets laid off or that person decides to leave the firm, they will take all of their friends and all the people that they had close relationships with, all those people will follow them out of the door because we don't like to leave our friends. We don't like to leave people who we have strong relationships with. We don't like to leave people who we respect and who we love, who we appreciate, who we have an affection for. We don't like to lose people who we've solved some of the most difficult problems with. We don't like to leave people who we've succeeded with. We don't like to lose people who we've bonded with, who we have rapport with. So, in the future, when you think about the future of work and what we should be doing today to prepare ourselves, it is important for us to reevaluate and reinvest in the relationships that we have with the people that we work with. We spend so much time during the day and during the week at work, getting ready for work, preparing for work, thinking about work. So, if you're not going to prioritize the relationships that you have with the people that you work with, your life can be very, very sad, very lonely, very disconnected. So let's change that. Today, I'm going to give you three things that you can start doing today to begin developing better relationships with the people that you work with. And eventually, you'll see the results in the fact that your attrition at your company goes down. You'll feel for more fulfillment and more satisfaction with the people that you work with. You'll get more joy out of your work. All the angels will be singing if we're successful today. Not only will you be more successful as individually, but your company will also be able to create profits that exceed expectations. The first thing to do is never eat alone. Each time that you eat, whether you're grabbing a snack, you're getting a coffee, you're going to lunch, you're taking your post lunch break, you're going to happy hour, whatever it is that you're doing, never eat alone. Find someone either on your team or on another person's team. Find someone in the industry, find a potential client, meet with a manager or a leader, but always eat with someone. Now, this is not just about going out and just eating lunch and just going and just eating whatever you're going to be eating. It's not about just feeding your body. You're feeding the relationship when you're eating with someone else. Be intentional about how you spend your time when you're eating with someone else from work or someone that you are planning on working with. If you want to build a relationship, use the time that you're eating with that person to begin investing in that relationship. Speak words of affirmation. Tell them how much you admire them. Be honest and be authentic with it. Tell them the things that you really like about them and the things that you really respect about them. Make sure that you're pouring into the person that you're eating with. There's times throughout our jobs, and there's times when it gets really fast paced, and there's times when we're faced with disappointments and problems, and we have to be very direct with the people that we work with. And we may not tell them all the things that we appreciate them in the moment. A lot of us are working for money, right? So a lot of times when the money is on the line, a lot of times we'll neglect the fact that we're speaking to a human being that has a particular relationship with us, and that relationship is more than just money. So when you're eating with someone, invest in that relationship. Invest in pouring into that person. Find out what they like, find out what they dislike, find out their hobbies, find out how they move emotionally. Find out what they're looking forward to and their goals, and be transparent, be authentic. The more you share about yourself, the more they're going to be able to trust you. And the more they trust you, the more transparent they're going to be about themselves. And you're going to be able to build a stronger professional and personal relationship with that person. That relationship pays dividends in ways that you may not even know. There's a lot of people out there who are very lonely. There's a lot of people out there who miss real human, authentic connection. And if you're able to demonstrate that you're a human being, that you have no problem being transparent with them, that you have no problem being vulnerable with them, that you trust them, that you respect them, that you appreciate them, that you are fond of the work that they're doing, that you recognize their contributions that they're making to the company and to the team. If you can be that individual for someone who is starving for attention and starving for acknowledgement and starving for real human connection, if you can be that person for that individual, if you can be a friend, a work friend to that person will move mountains for you. That person will work, they'll sacrifice, they will fight for you, even when you're not in the room. You have no idea what dividends that you're going to be able to experience and receive when you invest in those personal relationships. So that's the first thing. Never eat alone. The second thing to do when you're starting to make friends and you start making friends with the people that you work with so that you'll have closer relationships with them. Find out what they're doing. Just because they work in a different part of the company or just because you work in a different part of the company does not mean you shouldn't know what each other is doing. When you take them out to eat or you're eating with them, be very observant. Don't make them have to spill everything out, but try to understand the challenges that they are facing. Try to understand the biggest challenges that are on their mind. There was times when in the military I would work in really top secret and very sensitive places, so I really couldn't discuss the work that I was doing. But as soon as I got out of the military, I transitioned out and became a consultant at one of the big 4 accounting firms in the world. I relished every single opportunity that I had to pick people's brains, have those informational interviews. I relished being that sponge that can not just soak up knowledge, but I can also dispense it. So definitely find ways where you can get to know an individual and build trust with that individual and learn what that person is doing and what professional challenges they're having. And don't just identify problems. Don't just turn this into a pity party. And definitely don't just give them unsolicited advice. What you want to do is you want to offer your, it's almost like offering your services to them as a friend. Hey, if there's anything that I can help you with, if there's any phone calls I can make, if there's any recommendations that I can give, or if there's any resources I can help you get in order for you to be successful, let me know. You're essentially offering your services to them as a professional friend. That type of relationship where you are helping that person at work be more successful at work, it pays dividends because not only do they recognize you as someone who is taking things off their plate and making their job a little bit easier, but they're also recognizing you as someone who has empathy, someone who is not going to judge them, someone who is not going to tell them that they're burning out for no reason because you're seeing all the work that they're doing and you're offering to help. Now, I know there are some people out there who say, you know what, I can't do all that. I already have enough stuff on my plate. My friends, trust and believe there is ways for you to be more efficient, and I can help you with that in another video. But you can find ways to be more efficient, and you can find ways to reserve a little bit part of your day, a little part of your day, to volunteer or to help someone that you see at work is struggling, or to help someone who is experiencing a challenge. They're going to get back on their feet. That person that you see struggling, that top performer that you see burning themselves out, they're going to get back on their feet. And when they get back on their feet, they'll be in a position to return the favor. Help out, be there for that person. That's the second way that you can begin building and enhancing that relationship that you have with the people that you work with. If you're on their side, if they can show that you're willing to work on the same things that they're working on, you're willing to help when you can and sacrifice the things that you need to sacrifice for them to be successful while you're maintaining your professional success. If you can show them that you're willing to fight for them, that loyalty, that relationship that you're going to build is going to have a lot of loyalty. And you're going to be the first person to know when they're planning on leaving. You're going to be the first person to know when they're getting burned out. You're going to be the first person to know when they have a good opportunity. You will never be blindsided. You will never feel as if you don't know what's going on. So definitely roll up your sleeves and help out. That's the second thing. Be about that action. The last thing, and the third thing that I'm going to give you in order to begin making friends, building engagement, and making sure that the people that you work with, you have close and beneficial relationships with them. The next thing to do is you want to make sure that you create a space in your employment. You want to make sure that you create a space for the office to come together. Now you're probably thinking, what does that mean? Like, are you talking about mandatory fun? Are you trying to get us to get into a conference room and eat cake or eat donuts? The thing is, a lot of us are focused on making the sale. We're focused on doing the business development. We're focusing on closing the opportunity. We're focused on doing the things that we need to do in order to generate revenue. But the magic, the way we are able to create profits that exceed expectations, it requires magic. And the magic has to come from something that the team is doing that other teams are not doing. The more we're able to work together, the more positive emotions we have, the higher vibrational energy we have, the more investments we make into the relationships that we have with the people that we work with, the more successful you are going to be and the more successful your team is going to be. Have you seen, this is the Final Four is going on right now, but have you seen teams on a bench, right? Let's say they're playing basketball and one of their players scores. You can see the team where everyone jumps up off the bench. The people who are playing celebrate. Everyone is celebrating, from the coaching staff to the trainers to the people who have never gotten in the game. They're up and they're clapping and they're supporting their team. And that team just seems like they're just motivated. They're excited. They're inspired. They're playing great defense. They're not getting too high. They're not getting too low. They're playing great offense. They're able to bounce back. They're able to take advantage of the momentum swings, and eventually they win. And then if you pay attention to the team that is not cheering for each other, they're not playing inspired, they're not being as sharp on defense, they're not being as fast and as passionate and as focused on offense. They're not really cheering for each other. And you think, well, these are two teams. They're playing the same sport. They're in the same competition. Why is it that one team feels inspired and feels motivated to be more productive than the other team? The same thing happens in business. Your sales team is actually competing against your competitor's sales team. And when your sales team sees an opportunity, your team is going to be able to take advantage of that opportunity if you have that mojo, if you have that energy, if you have that camaraderie, if you have that morale that allows your team to come together, to work together, to sacrifice together, to fight together. If you have that as part of a feature in your team, it's like the sixth man on a basketball team. If you have that on your sales team, of course you're going to outperform the competition. Of course you're going to beat your competitors. Of course you're going to be able to maintain and gain your market share. It is important in the future of work to begin investing in that mojo, begin investing in that high morale. Sometimes it involves you buying donuts for the team. Sometimes, and maybe no one's going to eat the donuts, right? You bring them in the morning, but someone will look at the donuts and say, hey, someone thought about the team. Someone spent their own money to make sure that someone had some snacks. That is nice. That's a nice gesture. Maybe it's getting flowers, right? You can set some people just love looking at flowers. You can buy flowers, sit them on the table in the conference room, and it just makes that conference room look a little bit better. It doesn't matter what it is. Find a way to begin investing in the high morale of your team, because when you invest in the high morale of your team, you're less likely to lose top performers. You're less likely to find situations where your recruiters can't retain and can't obtain top performers. Invest in the high morale of your team. Now you may be thinking, well, my team has already high morale. I get no complaints. My friend, even teams that have high morale have complaints. If you're getting no complaints about the culture, if you're getting no complaints about the morale, if you're getting no comments or nothing to work on as a leader or as a manager, guess what? It means your people don't trust you. Even the best teams are going to have one or two detractors that are going to say, you know what? I didn't like the cake, or I wish there were cupcakes. I've been on some great teams in the military. I've been on some great teams as a consultant. Even the teams that have the best morale, there's like 10% of the people who are like, it's not my day. I'm not excited. I'm not motivated. I'm not in a good mood. I don't have a good attitude. I don't feel like coming to work. About 10% of the people are going to feel like that. But 90% of the other people are going to be motivated. They're going to be inspired. They're going to feel like they can solve any problem. They're going to feel excited about working together. They're going to be excited about the things that you're working on. They're going to be excited about achieving the goals that you set out as a team. Focus on making sure that you are investing in the high morale of your team. And make those investments. Make those investments at least once a week. You don't have to do it every day, but at least once a week. If you're on a team with 5 people and 5 people are making investments in the morale of your team, you have an event or you'll have something popping off every single day someone comes to work. And it's going to become the norm. And you're going to feel it in the energy. Your clients are going to be able to experience it. You're going to have that morale. You're going to have that energy. It's like the leading character energy in a movie. It's like that superstar energy on a sports team. Your sales team or your sales people are going to have that superstar persona, that superstar energy, where people are going to want to sign your autographs, if you know what I mean. They'll want to sign the big contracts with you. Those are the 3 things to do in the future of work for us to get prepared for the competition that we're going to have to go through in order to obtain and maintain top talent. We have to take a more serious look at the relationships that we're making with the people that we work with. We don't want to feel nasty about the people who we're working with because the best people have left. We don't want to feel like we're on the skeleton crew of a pirate ship. We don't want to feel like we're the last person on the Titanic. We don't want to feel like we're going to work and we're the only ones holding it down. We want to feel like we're working with the best. We want to feel like we're on championship teams. We want to feel like we're a group of overachievers. We want to feel like we're creating sustainable growth. We want to feel like we're the high morale team. We want to feel like we're playing with house money. I'm telling you, my friends, it is all possible. It is possible for you to really enjoy the work that you're doing. It's impossible for you to feel the passion when you come to work, and the people that you work with also feel the passion. It is okay for you to make friends at work. It is okay. You can make excellent friends with the people that you work with. You don't have to mistrust the people that you work with. If you invest in those relationships, if you build strong personal and professional relations with the people that you work with, if there's a certain amount of trust, if you exercise excellent communication skills, if you don't betray their trust, you can have very fulfilling relationships with the people that you work with. And your life as a whole will be much more enjoyable. It's good to go places and you're recognized. It's good to go places and you people share the love that they have for you. It's good to go places where you feel like you belong. And guess what? You can make your job, you can make your company, you can make your firm, you can make your team that place where you go and you feel like you belong. But you have to invest in those relationships. You have to invest in the quality of the relationships with the people that you work with. Don't betray their trust. I'll say this. If someone brings you something in confidence, if they share a personal detail about themselves, if they share a challenge with about themselves, don't betray it. You may think that you're getting over on them. You may think that you're moving up in the world by knowing something that makes someone else look vulnerable. You may think that you are moving up because you shared that with someone else that could potentially put some things in motion that will cause detriment to their career. You may feel like you're going up, but really what you're doing is you're betraying the trust. Really what you're doing is you're killing your morale. Really what you're doing is you're identifying yourself as someone who gossips, someone who takes part in toxic social behavior. You're identifying yourself as someone who is not a good team member. You're identifying yourself as someone who is not worthy of trust. You're not worthy of someone to place their trust in you. When you gossip about other people, that's at work, that's what you're doing. You're actually hurting the morale, you're hurting the teamwork, you're hurting your ability of your team to succeed. Because you're making it almost impossible for people to trust you in social situations. And guess what? When we're not absolutely heads down in work, work is very social. The way we succeed by working together as a team. The best sales deals, trust or believe. I've met some people in consulting. There are some people out there who are rainmakers. There are people out there who you send them into the room, they know what to say, they know how to say it, they know who to talk to, they cut through the BS, and they're able to close the sale, right? The problem is the size of the deal that that person is able to close is so small compared to the size of the deal we're able to close together as a team. I've been on some great teams and we closed some amazing deals, but it's because we came to the deal as a team. Learn to build relationships with the people that you work with so that you can assemble excellent teams. And when you assemble excellent teams, the profits are going to come, the productivity is going to be there. You're not going to have to watch after all this investment, all this training, all this development, you're not going to have to watch your top performers walk out of the door. Why? Because they don't have real strong relationships with the people that they work with. As I said before, people are going to leave managers, people will leave leaders, people will leave jobs, they'll leave careers, they'll leave firms, but guess what? They're not going to leave their friends. They're not going to leave their friends. Their friends will be there. And your friend, if your friend talks to you like, you know what? You can really stay because X, Y, and Z. Your friend may be able to say something to you that makes you decide, you know, I'm going to stay at this firm a little bit longer. Just because you're friends, just because you have that close relationship. The opposite is also true. If your friend decides, you know what, this is not the firm for me, this is not the company for me, this is not the opportunity for me, your friend may also influence you to go to another firm. May also influence you to move across the country. Why? Because you have such a close relationship with that person. In order to get around that, as a professional, start building relationships and take them very seriously. Start investing in their relationships with the people that you work with. If you do that, you'll be more successful than you can ever imagine. That's my message for you today. I hope you enjoyed it. I look forward to talking to you again in the next video. Thank you.